All right, so this is an activity that goes along with your Good Friday story, and I'm going to kind of repeat the story a little bit. And while I'm repeating, I'm going to be manipulating this. It's just a plain white piece of paper, nothing special. Okay, just a white piece of paper. All right. So when Jesus was dying on the cross, it got very dark for 3 hours. Okay, and since it was very, very dark, it would be hard to see. Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And again, Jesus cried out in a loud voice. So it's loud, so everybody could hear. And then he died. The temple curtain was torn from top to bottom. Now, this is a big curtain, okay? It's not like the curtains in your house. It would be a very large curtain, very fancy, heavy, not easy to tear, all right? The earth also shook, all right? So the earth also shook, and graves were open. So because the earthquake happened, the rocks broke apart. Jesus' body was put in a tomb cut in a wall of rock. So it's a stone tomb. The entrance was blocked with a very large stone, a very large, heavy stone, so it wouldn't be easy to move, okay? And so some church leaders came to Pilate and requested a strange thing. You remember what they requested? Yeah, they requested for some people to be put outside of the tomb because Jesus said he's going to rise in 3 days. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want, people to steal his body. So Pilate said, then seal the tomb, seal it tight, and post guards to make sure. Okay? So he's going to post guards to make sure. Now, no one could get in, and Jesus definitely couldn't get out. I mean, this is a heavy, heavy stone. Okay? So, what really happened then? I mean, he's in there. He can't get out, and no one could get in. Have you ever been to a cemetery? You might have. You might have. And usually after people die and the funeral's over, they get taken to the cemetery and they're buried, right? Well, in Jesus' time, they didn't bury them in the ground. They put them in a tomb, which would be like an opening, and usually in a cave kind of situation. Okay, it would be very dark. And so a tombstone might be at a cemetery now, which would be a marker. So it's kind of made out of a stone, and it represents the tomb part, so that's why we call it a tombstone. So it's usually a marker, and on it is the person's name and the date that they were born, and usually the date that they died. Now, sometimes you're going to see spots where maybe there's just the date of their birth, because maybe they haven't died yet. Okay? Maybe they haven't died yet. They could have, but maybe not. So, Jesus didn't die because of his enemies. He didn't die because they wanted him to. One, he chose to. But he really chose to because it was his Father's will. Pilate condemned him, but God had a bigger plan. God had a plan that Jesus would die on the cross for you and me. Plain piece of paper. Pretty cool, huh? So, what was the surprise? It was the cross, right? So, people were surprised when Jesus was not in the tomb any longer. Remember the ladies that were supposed to go back and put the ointment and everything on him? Well, they did go back. But when they went back, he wasn't there. When you were baptized, the pastor made a sign of the cross over our head and our heart, and this was to mark us as being saved through Jesus Christ. We are forgiven as children of God. Now, you're probably wondering how I folded that piece of paper. I'm sure you are. I will take a picture of the instructions, and I will email them to Mom and Dad with a link to this video. All right? Please fold your hands with me. Dear God, thank you for loving me so much that you sent your son Jesus to die for me. I thank you that I am forgiven and will go to heaven when I die. Help me to show my thankfulness for what you've done for me. Amen. I will be posting another video of another Arch book story that kind of goes along with this. So I hope you view that as well. So good luck with your cross surprise.